2 games old.
Welcome to the first episode of the Courtside Coffee Podcast. I'm your host, Merlisa, and today we're discussing the hypocrisy and lunacy surrounding gambling in tennis. Now, before we get to the nitty-gritty, let me set the stage for you. Like many other sports, professional tennis has its fair share of rules and regulations. And one of the biggest no-nos? You guessed it, gambling. Players are strictly forbidden from betting on matches, and rightfully so. The integrity of the game is at stake, and any hint of foul play could tarnish the sport's reputation. But here's where things get a little murky. While players face harsh penalties for even the slightest involvement with gambling, the very entities that govern the sport seem to have no qualms about cozying up to the betting biz. That's right, folks. The same organizations that enforce the strict anti-gambling rules are associated with betting companies that sponsor tennis matches and broadcasts. Take, for instance, the Women's Tennis Association. The WTA has a multi-year agreement with FanDuel, an online gambling company. Last year, Betway, another online gambling company, became the official betting partner of Canada's biggest tennis tournament, the Toronto National Bank Open, aka the Rogers Cup. The Tennis Channel, the primary source for coverage in the United States, runs betting ads all the time and offers fans betting odds during matches. If that isn't enough to raise an eyebrow, to consider this. Some of the biggest names in tennis have agreements with betting and gambling companies. Tennis great Andy Roddick, who often does commentary, is a Betway ambassador. In 2021, James Blake joined RSI, an online casino and sports betting gaming company that owns BetRivers.com, where you can place bets on tennis matches. Blake is also the tournament director of the Miami Open, one of the biggest tournaments outside of the Grand Slams. This year, the International Tennis Integrity Agency fined Blake $56,250 for violating tennis's rules against betting sponsorship. Now, the ITIA is an independent body established recently, 2021, by the ATP, ITF, WTA, and Grand Slams to promote, encourage, enhance, and safeguard the integrity of their professional tennis events worldwide. The ITIA prohibits accredited individuals from having commercial relationships with betting companies. Blake has been tournament director of the Miami Open since 2018, so he probably thought he was in the clear. He's not the only name caught up in this news focus on integrity, though. Last year, retired Aussie tennis star Mark Philippoussis was fined $10,000 and suspended for 4 months after receiving payment for providing a voiceover to promotional content for a gambling operator. In 2022, U.S. Davis Cup team coaches Marty Fish and Bob Bryan were fined $10,000 apiece and banned for 4 months after promoting a gambling operator via social media. Now, Fish and Bryan, who did that promo for DraftKings, said they didn't know they weren't allowed. And they aren't the only ones confused about what is and isn't allowed regarding betting in tennis. According to the ITIA, covered persons include all players, related persons, and tournament support personnel. However, it's unclear who is a related person. Now, I reached out to the ITIA, and I'm still waiting to hear back from them to give me a definitive answer as to what is and isn't a related person. We have to figure this out. How can professional tennis justify punishing its players and coaches for involvement when gambling while simultaneously profiting from partnerships with betting and gambling companies. As fans of the sport, we owe it to ourselves and to the players who dedicate their lives to tennis to demand accountability from some of those who govern it. Now, professional tennis's hypocrisy regarding its relationship with betting and gambling companies cannot go unchecked. My thinking is either go all in and allow players to accept partnerships with gambling companies, or knock it off altogether and ban betting affiliations in all its forms. And that's a wrap for today's episode. What do you think about this? I encourage you to share your thoughts on this matter and to continue the conversation. Until next time, this is Merlisa signing off. Stay caffeinated and keep on brewing.